team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawg, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Colin Cowherd gets exposed for lying about Michael Jordan. Let's get into it, but before we do, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to 10K. Almost there, man. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that button for me. Go ahead and hit the button, then come back and finish the video. Then go ahead and like this video if you like it. Go ahead and write some in the comments. Let me know how you feel about Colin Cowherd. I don't even know if I'm saying his last name right, but this announcer, I guess he's a famous announcer. He gets exposed for lying about Michael Jordan. I have no idea what he's about to lie about, but let's get into it. We got Colin Cowherd gets exposed for lying about Michael Jordan. Let's get it.
So, as you guys might have heard, Michael Jordan is selling his stake in the Charlotte Hornets. And with that being the case, Fox Sports analyst Colin Cowherd took this as an opportunity to bash MJ and his basketball legacy. And as I come to see very quickly, Cowherd's critiques of MJ are pretty flimsy and downright laughable.
Michael Jordan in talks to sell his stake, majority stake, in the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I would say this, I was as big a fan as anybody of Michael Jordan. But lost in all of this, in the highlight culture, you never see Michael's misses. It should be noted, he didn't win squat before Scottie Pippen.
Now, stopping Cowherd right there, first off, I gotta address the notion that fans don't know, discuss, or acknowledge Michael Jordan and his failures. This narrative might have worked in 1999 with dial-up internet and very limited resources. But nowadays, everybody has a phone, access to the internet, to watch the games, and look at the stats. If you're a hardcore basketball fan, know the history of the game, Michael Jordan's failures are very well documented.
That's facts. I was going to say that. Like, Colin Cowherd was kind of wrong on that, where no one talks about his misses, where if you're tuned into my channel, then we talk about Michael Jordan's misses a lot on this channel. We talk about those series with Boston. We talk about those series with the Detroit Pistons. Like, we've talked about these things. So, yeah, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, we have the accessibility to go and look at Michael Jordan's early years before he went and won those championships. And I personally, once I started doing that, starting to see it, like his losses and, you know, the different times where he, you know, he came up short, that made me appreciate his 6 rings even more. So, I don't agree with this, but let's see what he got to say. I think he kind of saying the same thing I'm saying, but let's see.
Even looking at Jordan's own documentary, that being The Last Dance, it was thoroughly explained Michael Jordan, pre-1990, had tons of failures. Yes. Whether it be versus Larry Bird and the Celtics, or Isaiah and the Detroit Pistons. And in that documentary, they even went in-depth talking about 95 and his loss to the Orlando Magic. So if you're someone like Colin Cowherd pushing this narrative, either 1, you're a moron, or 2, trying to deceive people on purpose and push your own personal agenda.
Right.
And one thing Cowherd said at the very end of that clip is that Jordan without Scottie Pippen didn't win squat. Now, this statement is a factual statement. But with that being said, it lacks tons of context and is very reductive. As looking at Jordan's early career, before Scottie got there, he only played 3 seasons, with 1 season him missing 60-plus games. For all of NBA history, there are very few, if any, players who win titles or make deep playoff runs in their first 2.5 years. And looking at the 80s East, it was absolutely stacked with all-time great talent and all-time great teams. As you had Bird's Celtics, Sixers, Dominique's Hawks.
Why they was just trying to jump my boy Larry like that? It was like 3-on-1. Come on, man. Yo! Where the Bird Gang at, man? I know y'all watching this video. Y'all knew about this? I heard about the fight, but I ain't seen that. That's Charles Barkley too. Oh yeah, they tried to get my boy Larry, man. They tried to get
Dr. J's Sixers, Dominique's Hawks,
Dr. J was really punching
Isaiah's
him.
Pistons, and even the Bucks and Cavs, who are very solid and good teams. Expecting a 21, 22-year-old to win a championship in that East
It's
to
crazy.
be a pretty absurd standard.
It's crazy.
And for
It
example,
turned him up though.
looking at LeBron James, who Cowherd does love, I would argue Jordan's first 3 years were more successful, as LeBron in 04 missed the playoffs, 05 missed the playoffs, and in 06 won a first-round series. Compared to Jordan, who in 85, 86, and 87, his first 3 years always made the postseason. And one thing I do want to show you guys is Jordan and Pippen in their first year together as teammates. This season was 1988. Jordan that year averaged 35 points, the most in the NBA, 3.2 steals, also the most, 1.6 blocks, the most for a guard, 1 MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star MVP, was first team All-NBA, first team All-Defense, had the most 30-point games,
Did everything.
40-point games, and 50-point games.
So that was because of Scottie Pippen.
Michael Jordan at that point was arguably the best and most talented player in the NBA. Compared to Scottie Pippen, who in his first year with Jordan averaged 7.9 points.
Yeah, what is
He
Colin
started
Cowherd
2
talking
games,
about?
Only played
Colin Cowherd.
20.9 minutes, which is the 8th most
I
on the
didn't
team.
mean to say that.
And looking at their first playoff series, Michael Jordan
45.
averaged 45.2 points, the highest ever in a single series in NBA history.
45.
And versus Cleveland, he had back-to-back 50-point games. At that point, the only player who ever accomplished that. If you think Scottie Pippen in 1988 was the so-called reason Jordan won, you're out of your mind. As Scottie in that series averaged 10.6 points to MJ's 45.2.
They didn't win the championship though.
It should be noted, he didn't win squat before Scottie Pippen. He just scored a lot and alienated teammates. He failed in baseball. He failed badly with the Wizards. He failed with the Hornets. Michael Jordan, take
like a
away
hater.
David Stern, Phil Knight, and Phil Jackson, is a really, really talented basketball player that probably ends up averaging more points without the titles.
Now, this right here possibly is the peak of insane hypotheticals. As what Cowherd is doing is stripping Jordan of any player, any person who helped him along the way. And why these blanket statements are so outlandish is because quite literally they apply to every player in the history of team.
I was just about to say that. Like, you can say that for everybody. You could say, well, Kobe never did anything with Shaq or Pau Gasol. Or you could say, Kevin Durant never did anything without Steph Curry. Or Dwayne Wade never won anything without LeBron James or Shaq. Like, you can say this for every single player. So, I think that Colin Cowherd, or however you say his last name, I think he just has an agenda. He's trying to have people like me and different analysts and stuff just talk about what he's saying. Like literally, the more clickbait stuff you talk about, the more views you get, the more probably income you'll eventually get. So I get what he's doing. There's no way that he really believes that the only reason why Michael Jordan started winning was because of Scottie Pippen. And don't get me wrong, I love Scottie's game. Like Scottie is a Hall of Famer. Scottie Pippen is a great player, but to try to just like downplay what Michael Jordan did and say like he wouldn't have did nothing without Scottie Pippen. He didn't win nothing because he didn't have Scottie Pippen. I think it's crazy. But let me know what y'all think about that.
In sports. Well, you know, Larry Bird, without Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish,
Right.
Casey Jones coaching him, and Red Auerbach as the GM, he wouldn't have won anything. You know, that Magic Johnson guy, he's a great point guard. But without Pat Riley, Kareem, and Jerry Buss, he wouldn't have done squat. And you know, that LeBron James, he's a tremendous talent. But without his big threes, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kyrie, Love, Anthony Davis, he wouldn't have won anything. I think it's a stupid narrative for any player, any sport, any era. And as you guys know, for Jordan, in his absolute prime and apex, he not once, play without Scottie Pippen. But in '98, with a post-prime Jordan, I would argue he showed he'd be successful minus Scottie. As that year, Pippen missed 38 games where the Bulls went 26-12 without him and the best record in the East. At that point, Jordan, he was 35 and carrying the oldest roster in the NBA. And even looking at the NBA Finals, with Pippen hurt and Rodman benched, in that series, he averaged 33.5 points
at 35
and won the title. In all of NBA history, that Bulls team minus Jordan was the lowest scoring supporting cast for a champion ever. In addition to that, they are still the oldest team ever to win a championship. That '98 season, at the very least, shows Jordan could have been successful man without Pippen in his prime.
Love Michael to this day. But LeBron, that's where these two aren't remotely close. LeBron, everybody that plays with him, everybody is better. He even worked with his old crazy J.R. Smith. He made Kyrie work. Kyrie hasn't worked with anybody. He couldn't work in Boston, didn't do squat at Duke, was a disaster in Cleveland. Brooklyn was a tire fire. How's it working in Dallas? LeBron worked with Kyrie. You can compare these two all you want. They're different people. They have different games. But LeBron's personalities become his game.
Now, in that clip, brought up LeBron James
that was tough.
Making his teammates better. And what he said very clearly is LeBron makes everyone better. This statement is pretty ludicrous.
That's not true.
As looking at recent history, just in LA, it's pretty obvious that's not the case. As Russell Westbrook, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, even Lonzo Ball were better after LeBron or before going to LeBron's team. Even in Cleveland, would you say Kevin Love was made better with LeBron James?
No.
Because I would argue K-Love had to change his entire game to fit LeBron James and his system. The same thing goes for Miami.
Chris Bosh,
much like Love, changed his entire game to be a spot-up shooter for LeBron. And look, I'm not saying LeBron has never made a teammate better, but looking at the vast majority of players, superstars, star teammates, even role players, I would argue, on average, LeBron's teammates don't get better when playing with him. And I do find it pretty comical that Cowherd brings up Kyrie Irving being quote-unquote crazy. When Michael Jordan, from 96-98, I would argue, played with the biggest headache in NBA history, that being Dennis Rodman, who pre-Chicago was on his way to being out of the NBA.
And I also want to kind of talk about that too. Like, I don't like that you just throw that crazy word out there. Kyrie Irving is not crazy. He speaks his mind. He has strong opinions, but he's not crazy. Like, we gotta stop that. I mean, he's not crazy. I just want to throw that out there, y'all. I know that had nothing to do with the video, but yeah, I was just thinking about that. It kind of bothered me a little bit. He's not crazy.
Antics, technical fouls.
Dennis Rodman was crazy.
To adapt to a team. And looking at post-MJ Rodman after the Bulls, he went AWOL in Dallas and Los Angeles. After '98, only played a total of 35 more NBA games.
That's crazy.
And I do want to note one thing. Colin Cowherd also brought up age and old J.R. Smith. Once again, pretty ironic, considering Jordan has 3 of the 6 oldest championship teams in NBA history. That being 96, 97, and 98. And one last point I do want to make, looking at Jordan's impact on teammates, Scottie Pippen was pushed, taught, and developed by Jordan, one of the best two-way players in NBA history. I don't think LeBron James ever has impacted a player more than Jordan impacted Scottie.
Michael takes care of them. They create a shield for Michael. For all the mythology, and he's as good a basketball player as I've ever seen, he failed at baseball, he failed at owning a team, he was bad with the Wizards, and all he did was score points and alienate people when he got to Chicago. Even Michael needed leadership. Stern, Phil Knight, Phil Jackson, and for the record, not a lot of playoff wins without Scottie Pippen.
Now, once again, Cowherd is pushing the narrative Jordan was nothing without Scottie Pippen. We already debunked this one time, but let's do it again in different fashion. Look at Jordan Pippen in their first ever run to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Hey!
That year was 1989. Michael Jordan, the first round versus Cleveland, averaged 40, 8 and 6 with 3 steals. Scottie Pippen averaged 15, 9 and 4 with 2 steals. Second round Jordan averaged 36, 10 and 8 with 3 steals. Scottie Pippen was 15, 7 and 5 with 1 steal per game.
Scottie used to have some
And
posters,
looking at the
though.
conference finals, Michael Jordan averaged 37 and 6 with 2 steals, compared to Pippen, averaged 10, 7 and 3, also with 2 steals. If you look at those two players and say Scottie Pippen was the reason Jordan won a series, you're completely out of your mind. As looking at that Bulls team, minus MJ, there were 0 All-Star teammates, 0 All-NBA teammates, 0 All-Defensive teammates, and 0 teammates who averaged above 15 points per game. Cowherd's Pippen narrative is a prime example of correlation does not equal causation. And with that
Correlation doesn't equal what?
That is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
That boy's tough, man. Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for watching this video with me. Yeah, Colin is tripping. I don't know. Like, I do know what he's trying to do. Like I said, he's trying to get ratings. But I appreciate y'all for watching this with me. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about this hot take. Is Michael Jordan nothing without Scottie Pippen? Because I see what he was trying to do. What he's saying is, because putting up the stats don't really tell the story, because that was what Michael Jordan was doing before Scottie Pippen got there. So yeah, that kind of goes to Colin's point where he scored a bunch of points, but they don't win. So even if he does score the same amount of points, but he has Scottie Pippen now and they win, he wants to say that's because of Scottie Pippen. So I get what he's trying to do, but let's just stop it, man. Scottie Pippen was blessed to be able to be with Michael Jordan. So I think Michael Jordan would have won with whoever he had. He had to have some talent. He had to have some people come and be a part of his team. Like, you can't win it by yourself, but if that was Scottie Pippen or any other big time wing that can do some of the stuff that Scottie Pippen could have did, he would have been good. But if vice versa, I don't think that would have been the same. Scottie Pippen needed Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't need Scottie Pippen. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.